What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about beers and pirates. Arr, matey.
Yo ho ho.
And a bottle of rum.
And a bottle of rum.
Man, rum. I could go for some rum right now.
Whoa.
I feel like this should be a cocktail episode.
This should have been, but it's not, and here we are.
It's not, and here we are, and you're here with us. Welcome back to Beers and. How is everyone doing today? Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. My hands are all wild and
I don't
around.
know what to do with my hands. Welcome back. You can come follow us on Instagram at Beers and Podcast, and come watch us on YouTube at Beers and Podcast, and also come find us on Twitter where all the degenerates like to hang out at Beers and One.
Mm-hmm.
And also comments, concerns, suggestions, and really anything else you want to say, beersandpodcast@gmail.com.
God, down to a science.
Practice, baby.
It is impressive. Succinct.
So we're talking about pirates today, and I would like to preface this topic and say I very nearly did a riff on piracy and went into Napster and LimeWire, but I didn't.
I almost did as well, but
That's great.
Didn't do it either, and I'm
you-
glad I didn't.
If you don't know what Napster or LimeWire is, you're probably too young to be listening to this podcast, so I suggest you...
Or Kazaa. Remember Kazaa? Or BearShare?
That I don't remember.
Yeah. It's funny you say that you made that preface to the younger listeners, because for our last episode, when we had been kind of going through some stuff about Vietnam, and we said how we weren't going to talk about the Vietnam War, I was thinking about it a couple of days ago, and I was like, there are some folks that might not necessarily be familiar with what that is, and I was just thinking,
For sure.
That's what Iraq and Afghanistan was for you guys, what Vietnam was for our parents.
Yeah, the prior generation.
Yep, a war that we didn't win.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're on to something
Enough
even
about
better.
that. Enough about that. We're having a...
What are we drinking today, matey?
We will be having an O2 seltzer.
An O2 seltzer.
O2 seltzer. Actually, on our first ever episode, if you'd like to go back and check the tapes, I made a comment about the mango cucumber spa water.
Oh, yes.
And I said it sounded like a Karen drink.
Well,
Verbatim, actually.
oh, is that a direct
That
quote?
is actually what I said.
Well, then chop my hair up, send in the manager. I say we get our Karen on.
Well, what do people in the South say? Well, slap my knee and call me Sally.
Slap my knee and call me Sally.
Why? Okay.
I have no idea why.
I'll call you whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you just let us know.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Hey,
Ah.
we won't ever be late for dinner.
No.
We're two Italians, and we have dinner at like 3 o'clock sometimes.
Oh, I was going to say, or dinner is not had unless I make it or we order it. So, I mean, it's also one of those things. I shouldn't say that. Nick cooked last night.
He did?
Well, yes,
nice.
he did.
Oh, okay.
Nick's good like that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So mango cucumber spa water. It's an O2 seltzer from Other Half. Another half.
Other half.
Our first Other Half seltzer, though.
Oh, this is an exciting one.
Yes. I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
So there's a very famous pirate movie franchise set in a tropical locale.
Okay.
How would you say that word?
I pronounce the...
Are you going to tell me what Christina said? Because I'm going to be so upset.
What, that I pronounce the movie title differently than
Then you would the actual location of the place? Yeah.
I do, though. I pronounce the movie franchise Pirates of the Caribbean, but if, like, my parents actually happen to be on a cruise this week, my parents are in the Caribbean. I'm sorry, it's true. I
You
really
guys are
do.
the worst.
Why? How do you pronounce it?
Caribbean.
Yeah, no, I would say, like, yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, but
Yeah.
I'm in the Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean.
You say Royal Caribbean?
If I haven't before, I will start now.
You don't say Royal Caribbean?
I don't know. But if I have in the past, my stance has changed.
Oh.
One way.
Oh.
Everyone gets one.
I can't believe that we're disagreeing on this. I would have expected that you would have been a Caribbean guy.
That's what Christina said. Christina said what you said when you talk about the cruise line. It's Royal Caribbean, or if I'm going to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But if it's the movie it's
franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean.
That makes no sense.
Well, I mean, we say read and read. They're spelled the same way.
We do, but they're used in different tenses. Right?
I mean, yeah. All right. Touche.
Okay.
Touche.
Sorry.
I'm surprised. I really would have thought.
It's Caribbean. I feel like it's got to be.
But no, Caribbean is like when people say caramel.
That's wrong, but I will admit that I pronounce it that way.
That one I think I might pronounce.
Just like
that
I
way.
pronounce as a pecan.
A
not
pecan?
Not a pecan.
A pecan? No, I say pecan.
I feel like I'm too cultured if I say pecan.
Is that how you feel? That must be what it is. Y'all going to the Caribbean, or are you going to be vacationing in the Caribbean? Oh, yes, in the Caribbean for the weekend.
Yes.
As opposed to, we're all going down to get some sun down in the Caribbean.
Okay, I will say this smells interesting.
Oh, interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I just hope it's old, so I hope it's not bad.
I mean, I think it's seltzer. I don't think it goes bad.
That's what I was thinking. It's water. Like, how could it? How
Oh,
could it be bad?
there's a date on the bottom. You keep pulling. Oh, let's see.
August.
It was canned in August.
Was it? That's a good guess.
Okay, so that's not too bad. Yeah, August 31st, if anything, too. So the very end
Okay.
of August. So
All right.
nearly September.
Okay.
There is a slight tint to it,
We'll
which
give it
I
a
think is
try.
usually indicative to begin with of some of these flavored seltzers.
So, mango cucumber, we know.
I mean,
we know them both. We may not know them together, but we know them.
yeah.
Mango cucumber spa water, though.
Ooh. It smells like
It smells like you're in a hot tub or like in a spa jacuzzi.
Yes, one would say perhaps on a Caribbean island.
Well, some might say Caribbean.
If you're drinking this, you're on a Caribbean island. Cheers.
I'm always willing to try.
Everything twice.
Okay. The cucumber is there.
The mango, not so much.
No.
It's a little bit maybe at the very end.
And there's like there's a spa water flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, like how spa water usually like sits.
Yeah, and there's like aromatics, I feel like. I hope.
Yeah. What kind of...
It's not just person soup.
Is there anything... Ooh. Mango Caribbean, 5% alcohol. It's a hard seltzer. Brewed in... Yeah, not too much written up on it at all.
No, there's not. I'm going to see if I can really quickly pull up ingredients.
It's funny because this whole like 2 grams of carbs in this 110 calorie thing, not to say that I don't appreciate the fact that we're trying, but booze is booze is booze is booze.
You're right,
folks.
You're right.
Like,
There was a beer that came out recently for like a super light beer. Like 85 calories or like 80 or 75 calories, something like that. And like that's a big difference. But everything else is usually like 110 and up.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Whatever happened to the good old days of just cracking open a Michelob Light and having it, and having that just, go down smooth.
Hashtag definitely not a sponsor.
No, I like Michelob.
So it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
The untapped bio of the mango cucumber spa water. There's no ingredients in here, but all it says is that this spa water inspired seltzer is hit with mango and cucumber, perfect for lazy summer days. That's all it says. And also, this was dubbed the most chill of this week's O2 release. This week being way back when.
It actually is quite subdued. It is kind of nice. It is a bit tranquil. Especially, I took a little bit of a bigger sip on that second one. I like it.
I don't dislike it. I don't know if I love it.
No, I definitely don't love it. I don't love it.
Okay.
But I think it does function well as a spa water.
I could probably very easily sip this through a straw while getting a massage.
Yes, if you have a slightly scratchy terry cloth robe that you would like to throw on me and maybe a couple of, slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could kick back with something like this.
I could see myself laying down with cucumber slices over my eyes and one of those giant little swirly straws, all the way up from the drink.
Love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm into that. It's decent.
I feel like we've had some more creative, a little bit more impressive seltzers, but I think that was their goal. When you go for a spa, or when you want something that's spa related,
Yeah.
I think you want something that's going to be a little bit more, I would expect this. This is nice.
It's go ahead.
Yeah, meaning like, I'm not being put off by it. It's not coming out of left field.
It's neutral.
Very much so.
It is very neutral considering that there should be mango. And there is mango in here. It's just very muted.
Very, very muted.
Okay, so if I think about it that way, I'm a little more accepting of it. Like, I do think that was the aim, like that big glass container of cucumber water.
Exactly.
Like, that's the inspiration for this.
And as a result, I think it gets that sort of pass as a result.
I like cucumber and things, and I like the way it tastes in here. I usually associate it more with like a lime.
Oh, okay.
Cucumber lime something. There's actually, I think you guys know this, and I've been ridiculed for this in the past. Cucumber lime Gatorade. It's a real thing. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it wasn't you guys.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Cucumber lime Gatorade is delicious.
It exists currently?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're harder to find now than when they first came out, but they are delicious.
All right.
One of the best Gatorade flavors.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'll bite. I'll bite. I guess.
I'll chew on it.
Well, I'm so relaxed right now. I mean, that
it is incredibly relaxing.
It is.
I feel taking a notch down.
Yeah.
Since we started sipping it.
It's a good thing that we're going to be talking about swashbuckling and things along those lines. Perhaps. I don't know.
And scurvy.
And scurvy.
Scurvy again. Did you think you'd be hearing scurvy again?
Not from us.
So soon?
Not from us. Not on this delectable spa day.
I mean, actually, the more I drink it, the more it grows on me.
Yeah. Like I said, that first sip,
Yep.
meh. That second sip, much nicer.
I'm getting the mango more now, too. It is kind of like an after note. It's an aftertaste. Kind of on like
It's coming through in terms of the smell.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, you're right. On the sides of the tongue, back of the tongue. I like it.
It's not bad.
My rating has gone slightly up.
Slightly.
In the, 2-3 minutes that we've been sitting, kind of sitting on it so
I went
far.
up 2 points.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's it, just 2.
Just 2. That's it. It's not something I think that I would ever... how can I put it? I would take a couple of these with me to the beach by myself while I'm hanging out.
Definitely.
Midweek, reading a book. That's about it. This is not a social...
No. I do feel like if it was very warm out, this would be much more refreshing.
I agree.
Like, it would kind of play off of the hot...
Yeah.
The hot day.
I agree.
I think we would enjoy it more, but I do like it. I'm going to say 3.37.
Ooh, I was going to go roughly like a 3.2, 3.25. Yeah.
I was at 3.35 before the first sip. Or after the first sip.
All right. Yeah, I'm thinking right around that range.
Yeah.
That feels good.
It's smooth. It's crisp.
It is crisp. It's well balanced.
Yep. I would like a little more mango.
I feel like this is something I could easily go ahead and like give to my mother and be like, drink this, you'll like this.
Same.
You'll be all right. You'll be fine.
And it's only 5%.
Thank God.
They're very easy drinking.
Hence part of the reason why I said I would give one to my mom.
Yeah, same. My mom doesn't drink.
No, neither does mine. Not in the slightest.
We had this conversation yesterday at the food tasting. How my mom told the story of how she got turned off to alcohol.
Yes.
Way too much tequila once.
Oh yeah.
And I vividly remember, and I was younger. Like, we might have only been like 10 years old, and I remember her being so sick.
Oh.
Like, I remember her, like, she went in the bathroom. I was like, Dad, is Mom okay? She's like, yeah, she's fine. She's just feeling a little nauseous. Like, and she was in there for a while. Anywho, not terrible. Not my favorite. I would like to try another one. Another O2 seltzer.
I would too.
Actually, I vividly remember from that first episode when we broke the news about this, they also released a lemon blueberry one, and one was a grapefruit. Oh, man. Grapefruit something. But the lemon blueberry one, I would be into.
I would try that. Yeah.
I think those are
I would
two
try
really,
that a
really
little
great
bit
flavors.
Sooner. This is nice in theory. It serves its function.
Yeah.
It serves its function. What I do like is that a lot of times I find that some of these seltzers can kind of be a little like syrupy.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that,
No.
which I think is what reinforces it as a spa water.
This almost is like, if there wasn't alcohol in here, this would be a seltzer. The consistency of a seltzer, it's very thin, thin drinking on the palate.
I like it.
Light, nice little champagne-y bubbles.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think a pirate would ever drink any of this, though.
Definitely not. But you know what a pirate might drink?
What would a pirate might drink? What would a pirate might drink?
I could tell you what a pirate would definitely drink. Grog.
Grog.
So, grog is known as the drink of pirates.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily a pirate drink.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I had
Is that
thought...
like a square is always a rectangle, but a rectangle is not always a square?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had thought that grog was created by pirates, but it turns out that it wasn't.
Oh.
Let's rewind a little bit. I'm gonna set the scene.
Yep.
So pirates are synonymous with rum.
Just real quick,
Sure.
if just so it's crystal clear, if I knew how to do the rewind from Missy Elliott's "Work It," I would have.
Yes.
Okay. Anyhow.
It's your
Yeah, come on.
something like that.
Well.
So although pirates are synonymous with rum, the Royal British Navy was as well. So following the conquest of Jamaica in 1655 by the Royal Navy, a half pint of rum gradually replaced beer and brandy as the drink of choice on ships and what they were getting as rations.
Oh.
Okay. So we talked about scurvy, right? Really quick before I get into it again. And I really didn't know all this. I wanted to talk about the symptoms of scurvy. Second time we talked about it.
Yeah.
So we got to know what the symptoms are. So it's a vitamin C deficiency. It can lead to anemia, debility, exhaustion, spontaneous bleeding, pain in the limbs, especially the legs, swelling in some parts of the body, and sometimes ulcerations of the gum and loss of teeth.
I'm sorry.
Actually, quite a serious disease.
Oh, yeah. But what in the hell is spontaneous bleeding?
Fantastic question. It was just what it sounds like, I assume.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out of orifices or like thin skin, but it's terrible either way.
Oh, my God.
So vitamin C, very important. Get vitamin C in your diet.
Holy shit. And this, wow, I'm just imagining the Royal Navy then to... Clinton, it appears that you're bleeding. Ah, yes, I seem to be spontaneously bleeding
It's just a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound.
So think about how debilitating this was to some crews, you know,
Yeah.
especially not knowing the cause of what this was. Like they knew that limes and citrus helped, but they didn't know why because vitamin C wasn't discovered until 1912.
Oh
So this
my
is
God.
like 300 years in the past. And
Yeah.
they knew because it helped, but they didn't know why.
We look back on these folks like those poor bastards. I
Yeah.
can't imagine what folks 300 years from now are going to look back on us and think those poor bastards.
Oh, probably the same,
I assume
if I
so.
must guess. So given to the sailors straight, their half liter of rum. Right. Obviously, this caused issues, whether it be the subsequent illness or the disciplinary action that needed to come out of them just being drunkards.
Yeah.
Because what some sailors would do would be instead of having their ration in a day, they would save it for a couple of days. And then in one sitting have like 3 or 4 days worth of rum.
Oh, my God.
So they would get very sick and obviously they'd be like kind of disorderly on the ship. So this was an issue.
No, you swab the poop there.
So to minimize this, rum was mixed with water to both dilute its effects, but also to accelerate its spoilage so that it couldn't be saved.
Oh.
So they were like kind of forced to have this rum and water, which really kept them alive.
Huh.
Because it goes in to explain that when the need for sailors and longer voyages accumulated, they needed to store more water. But the problem with storing fresh water on a ship was that it quickly collected algae
Oh,
or became
yes,
slimy or
yes.
stagnant.
Yeah.
So they would mix beer and brandy before the rum to sweeten the water and make it more palatable.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
So that's how all this came about. The name of grog actually comes from Admiral... What's his name?
Aloysius.
Admiral Vernon. Close, though.
Oh, okay.
Admiral Vernon. So his nickname being Old Grog from the Rackham coat that he wore. So Rackham is a material that coats used to be made out of, apparently. So that's where he got his nickname, and that's where this drink got the nickname. But here's the story. This is an excerpt from an official order of Admiral Vernon from August 21st, 1740. So quite some time ago. The daily allowance of half a pint a man is to be mixed with a quart of water. So it's like a 4-to-1 water to rum ratio. to be mixed in one scuttlebutt, kept for that purpose, so I guess like a little casket or whatever, and to be done upon deck and in the presence of the lieutenant of the watch, who is to see that the men are not defrauded of their allowance of rum. It is to be served in 2 servings, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The men that are good husbands may, from their savings of their salt provisions and bread, purchase sugar and limes to make the water more palatable to them. So actually, when this came out, it was actually misread to think that he suggested lime and sugar be mixed with the rum and water. But actually what it was is he was just saying that if you have the money to make this drink a little bit more okay for yourself, you can do so.
Yeah.
But this is where this drink was born. Because grog is water, rum, lime juice, and sugar.
I could see how the mistake was made, but it's also sounds like modern day sort of like marketing to begin with.
Kind of.
It's like, we can sell you these 2 things, and then if you want, you can also have these 2 things to make the first 2 things you purchase just a little bit better. It's like,
exactly.
that's almost genius.
Yeah. Well, I mean, supplies were short.
Yeah.
And they needed to keep everyone alive, and they needed to do it in the most efficient way possible.
That's really impressive.
So it's kind of cool how this like concoction, one of the most famous pirate drinks of all time, came from the British Navy, and even more so, like it was kind of an accident.
Right.
Like they were just trying to keep their soldiers hydrated and scurvy free. That's really it.
The British Royal Navy trying to keep our soldiers alive and scurvy free. I love that.
I mean, it's genius.
Yeah. Huh.
So actually, we talked about, when I talked about scurvy, when we were talking about gin, the gimlet. This is essentially a gimlet with rum. It's the same ingredients.
Impressive. I like the name Gimlet a little bit better than grog.
Me too.
Nice.
But gin deserves to be a little more classy
It should.
in its name than rum.
It should.
I feel like.
That'll give you.
Yes.
So we know quite a bit about a number of different pirates. We know about Blackbeard, and we know about, mostly, if I say pirate, you probably have...
I'm not going to cut you off, but
I'm sorry.
hang on to the thought of Blackbeard.
Okay. I will.
Okay.
Holding on to it.
Edward Teach was his name.
Oh, yes, it was. I do know that. But we think about Davy Jones, and we think about Blackbeard.
Sure.
So we typically think about male figures.
There were plenty of female pirates,
There
though.
were plenty of female pirates as well. And so this information comes from a website called We Are the Mighty. And it had a list of, 5 or 6, really important, quote unquote, important pirates. But there were 3 on this list here.
Are you about to tell me about Anne Bonny?
I've got a little bit about her.
Okay.
Do you know anybody else that I might be talking about?
There was I believe she was a female Chinese pirate, if I'm not mistaken. I don't recall her name.
I will be talking about her also.
Fantastic.
What? You didn't have this information, did you?
Nope.
Okay, good. So you already mentioned Anne Bonny. So Anne Bonny was actually born in Ireland, and she was an illegitimate child. Her father was a lawyer, and her mother was a servant. And what wound up happening was that she eventually ran away to South Carolina. And when she had moved to South Carolina in Charleston, if anybody's been down there and whatnot, it was a big kind of like hub for piracy.
Yeah.
And she became fascinated with James Bonny, who was a pirate as well. Eventually, they got married, and her father did not approve of this whatsoever.
The lawyer.
Correct.
Makes sense.
One would assume. So the 2 of them were married, but the marriage quickly kind of fell apart. And as a result, she wound up joining Calico Jack's
Jack
crew.
Rackham.
Yep, there you go. So while he was considered to kind of be like a small-time pirate, she carved out quite a name for herself, particularly because the fact is that she went without disguise. Like, she wasn't disguised as a male, which was common, and in many cases almost like needed to take place. So during her time as a pirate, she was pregnant twice and had 2 kids. And interestingly enough, one of those pregnancies actually spared her from execution.
Yeah.
How do you know about this, out of curiosity?
Okay, so before I told you, hold on to the Blackbeard thought.
Yeah.
So Black Sails, the show that we watch.
Yeah.
Edward Teach is in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Bonny is in the show.
Oh.
Jack Rackham is in the show. And we've been watching this show for months now. And when I started to do research on the pirates, all these names started coming up, and I was like, no way.
Duh,
and I turned right to Christina, and I was like, you're not going to believe this shit.
And did she know already?
Because we had no idea. They're all real people.
Well, I've got another one for you. Let's see do you recognize Mary Read?
No.
So Mary Read was born in 1685, and very soon afterwards, she lost both her father and her brother at a very young age. As a result of that, she was raised as a boy by her mother. And the reason was to keep her paternal grandmother almost like assuming that the son was still alive to give money, like, you know, to continue to send money and fund their lives. So she kept this up, or Mary had kept this up to where she joined the army. When she had joined the army, she met her husband then while in the army, because someone always kind of found out. So evidently, you know, she had met this guy in the army, got married, and then they both left. When they left the army, he died very soon afterwards. And as a result, she decided to re-enlist in the army and joined up again. When she re-enlisted, her crew wound up being captured by Calico Jack. So while she became a pirate involuntarily, she took to the role as she was often like really effective at like fending off first attacks due to her military background. And throughout her entire period, only a few folks actually knew of her gender. One of them, Anne Bonny, knew that she was a woman. Calico Jack did. She had 2 lovers during this period, and the judge who wound up like sentencing her during her trial for piracy. Now, the individual that you were talking about goes by the name of Ching Shi, or Si. So she was fascinating, and we're talking about almost 100-ish years.
Way before.
After.
Oh, after? Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe I confused my facts. Anyway,
maybe they took some creative liberty with the show, perhaps also.
Oh no. Well, I only did a brief reading about Ching Shi.
Yeah. So she was born in 1775. So.
Okay, much after.
Yeah. So she was born in 1775 in the Guangdong province of China. And when she was very young, she was actually sold into like sex work to go ahead and actually like support her family. Very young. She was about 13 years old.
Wow.
During that period, however, she did manage to, garner attention from, a number of different men, and was known for her beauty. And one of these men that took like quite a liking to her was a pirate who was Zheng Yi. And he had asked for her hand in marriage. So now at this point, this was in 1801. So now she's older. It's not weird anymore. She's 26 at this point. So while she agreed to the marriage, she had also asked for monetary benefits from, their kind of like pillaging. And she asked for co-command of his crew, which she was granted. He said like, yeah, sure. So as a result, when she came into the marriage and started to co-command the crew, she had implemented some kind of strict and what we might look at today as like progressive guidelines, in that men and women had to be treated the same the entire time. And that news of that like kind of like equality amongst the crew wound up spreading. So after her husband had then passed away, she took full control over the entire crew. Like I said, as a result of some of these rules that she had in place, other pirates started to like join her fleet, and they started to put together something that became known as the Red Flag Fleet, which eventually grew to have numbers in the thousands.
Holy shnikes.
And it became the largest pirate fleet in history.
Wow. That was around the golden age of piracy.
Yeah, a little.
They just a little after.
A little,
I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say just a little after, early-ish 1800s. But yeah, like I had never heard of some of these people, let alone the largest.
That is
fleet.
insane. Thousands of
Thousands,
pirates.
thousands.
Because that means like 10 ships
Oh,
maybe even more.
a whole bunch. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
what
didn't
a
have an
fleet.
exact number.
Yeah, what a fleet.
Right?
So the whole time I had this shit-eating grin on when you were talking about these people, because now I feel like I know them from watching the show. Like Anne Bonny, tough as nails, red hair, takes shit from no one. So in the show, her and Jack Rackham are in love. They're like,
Okay.
they're together
All right.
essentially, and they like lead their own crew. But Jack Rackham, you made a comment of how he was kind of small time.
They referred to him, at least in this We Are the Mighty article, as kind of like more of a small time-ish pirate. I didn't cross-reference, to be perfectly honest with you.
So in the show, same thing. Like he was kind of pushed to the side. As like he wasn't a captain at first, and then he kind of like he's. I mean, if it's anything like the show in real life, very very good with his bravado. Like very can move people and very very smart tactically, and that's how he kind of worked his way up and became, I guess, Calico Jack. I haven't hit that part in the story yet.
Oh, okay.
But maybe it's coming.
Oh God, I can't believe I just gave a spoiler.
No. And then Edward Teach. Oh man, Blackbeard. And what's funny is right when he came on screen the first time he was introduced in like the second or third season, I turned and I was like, I bet that's Blackbeard, and it sure as hell was. But he goes by the name Teach in the show. And he is a badass bastard.
Really?
Big dude. And so I did some reading on him before we met up today. And one of his trademarks is how he went into battles fully armed. So like on his own person, 2 swords, a pistol, and also another weapon were like his standard, I'm going to battle, I'm going to mess people up. And he's a brutal bastard.
It's funny because I think some of the misconception is like, well, yeah, I would totally go and do the same thing until, and I'm sure, you've been around swords and knives and firearms. These are not light objects. These are heavy objects. So the idea of having 2 swords strapped to you in addition to a pistol or 2 pistols.
I believe it was a pistol and something else.
That's incredibly
this dude went in
heavy.
Armed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went in armed to the teeth.
Good God.
So I wanted to talk about some of the earliest pirates. So documented wise, we have in the 14th century, that's the earliest documented pirate activity. But we've had pirates since 300 BC.
Oh.
Most of them were not seafaring, but they were of the pillage and plunder type.
Oh no, I don't swim. I don't like that. I'm what you call a land pirate.
Well, I don't know when the first boat came. Like
well, I mean, there's Noah, I guess, had a,
that was quite the boat.
That was quite the boat from what I understand, as the story doth say. I'm sure,
now I got to look.
I'm sure we probably figured out that like boats were around for
Oh wow.
eons.
Okay, yeah. The oldest boat to ever have been recovered is a Pesce canoe. It's believed to be from the early Mesolithic period, around 8,000 years BC.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had pirates on the water forever.
Right.
Pretty much.
Okay,
super cool. So I'm glad that actually worked out. The earliest pirates were, and this is the 14th century, so the earliest documented pirates, they were called the Sea People. So it's really interesting. They would threaten ships sailing in the Aegean and Mediterranean Sea. And actually, these sea peoples were just seafaring confederation that attacked Egypt and the East Mediterranean prior to and during the late Bronze Age collapse. So for a while, these sea people were just out there taking over, government ships and taking the rewards. This is one of the earliest forms of documented pirates. Classically, the Phoenicians, the Illyrians, and the Tyrrhenians were all pirate people.
Really?
Were all pirate people. In the pre-classical era of ancient Greece, the Greeks actually condoned piracy as a viable profession. It's kind of... Whoa, wait, hold on. It was widespread and regarded as an entirely honorable way of making a living. References are made to its perfectly normal occurrence by Homer in the Iliad and the Odyssey. But... Oh, I'm sorry. And the abduction of women and children to be sold into slavery was common.
Right.
That kind of lends that to how they say condone.
It seems like it's one of those mindsets of like those people that believe in like, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It's
Danny.
like, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it was so by the classical era of Greece, piracy was known as a disgrace. So they eventually did come around and kind of like backtrack and realize what the heck they were doing.
Also lying, pillaging, and plundering for your own good.
We're not okay.
We're not okay.
Yeah, I guess only if you're on the business
board.
end of
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna say only if you're on the board. You're on the CEO.
Pretty much.
No. We don't condone that at all. Look at the stockholders.
Looking back, I made this comment off air to you. Simpler time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset to live on a pirate ship.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would. After a while. No.
Okay, I have one piece of information that I was going to save.
Okay.
But I'll say it now. So, believe it or not, living on a pirate ship was actually better for you than being of the government on a merchant ship.
Oh, that I am familiar with.
Oh, okay. This I
Yes.
did not know. There's actually it was quite the tall task to be a merchant.
Oh yeah, to be and again we had started watching a comedy show called Our Flag Means Death, and they have a run in with a British naval ship, and they do kind of all of a sudden they're like, wait a second, these folks on this pirate ship are almost living a little bit better than we are on this
Bingo.
naval vessel. Yeah.
So if you were on a merchant ship and you believed in the crown, you not only had to worry about pirates, but you also had to deal with the ship that you were on. Here are some of the conditions and why a pirate ship, in my eyes, is better. So, in a way, becoming a pirate was kind of like sticking it to the man
Oh yeah.
because of the poor conditions on merchant ships. Some of these were lousy rations, being cheated out of their pay after the journey.
Wow.
Often fed spoiled food. And they were actually, a lot of sailors were intentionally placed on vessels that did not have enough provisions. So the government knew that they were sending these people out pretty much to just die because they weren't going to make it if they didn't have water or food or, things to combat scurvy.
Oh my God.
And they would just send them out knowing that they weren't
Ta-ta.
to live.
See you never.
Must be nice to wear the crown.
Wow.
Yeah, really messed up.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And we think pirates are the bad guys.
Yeah, and again, that's got to do with a lot of like the writing,
Absolutely.
that's out there.
I'll go into that later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to, and I spent quite a bit of time on this next kind of section here, and I'm going to break it up into two different parts. So I'll start with a shorter little story.
Okay.
And then I'll move into my grand finale later.
Okay. Click.
So I am fascinated with the idea of, God, I feel like I'm swelling up for some reason today. I am fascinated with the idea of air piracy.
Air piracy?
Air piracy.
Whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we refer to it a lot of times now as, hijacking, but I've got stories about that a little bit later. But first, this first kind of example of air piracy involved kind of a crazy story. It involved
Charles Lindbergh.
You're in the right era.
Am I actually?
You're kind of in the right era.
That's awesome.
This involves Zeppelin LZ-66, which had flown 51 reconnaissance missions during World War I. And it's known in particular for the boarding of the Royal. So on April 23rd of 1917, the Zeppelin, again, L-66, or sometimes in the Imperial German fleet, it was known as like L-23. I know. Stupid names. It had come across a Norwegian ship called the Royal, which was 85 miles off the Bovberg lighthouse. And what they had done is that they had dropped a bomb on this boat, and it had forced the crew to evacuate to the lifeboats.
Oh my God.
The Zeppelin then descended down onto one of the lifeboats. And when that had happened, the commander had demanded the ship's papers and had then taken 5 of the sailors, the Norwegian sailors, and an officer back on board the ship to go and check for contraband. Particularly what they were looking for was like timber that was going to England. So when they had done so, they had taken these 6 crew members, and initially they had locked them up in their quarters. However, the Germans couldn't deal with like the masts and the flags and the and the sails. That's what I'm going for. Jesus Christ. So they had released them and made them sail the ship back to a place called Cuxhaven. In this process, again, the Zeppelin is pretty much just like hovering just above these lifeboats. So while it was really kind of like impressive, the German military was pissed off. They're like, are you out of your goddamn minds? We almost lost. Like, we very easily could have lost this Zeppelin. So what had wound up happening then was that from there, they were able to go ahead and like confiscate the boat. They took it in the name of the German military. And even after the war, that ship was utilized by German merchants for years until it was sold for scrap in 1924. So it's the only recorded example of a Zeppelin that was used for piracy in actually the commandeering of an enemy or a combatant boat.
That is one of my favorite stories of all time.
They have like images of this Zeppelin.
Because if you don't know what a Zeppelin is, it's a blimp. They're huge.
I think I might have the
huge.
They're huge. They're huge. It's the biggest thing you've ever seen.
Wish I had more hair. Only time,
just for this.
Would make it much more.
If you
accurate.
Are curious,
I'm very curious.
That's the recreation of the size itself, or of the actual taking.
So, did they like rope ladder themselves down?
Yeah, they brought it down all the way onto one of the lifeboats.
And then they threw a ladder off the side and they climbed down and pioneered this ship from the air.
Guten Morgen, we're going to take your... Hello, we've just descended down from the sky. We just want to go ahead and take your boat back to Norway.
That is impressive.
Right? What's impressive, again, is just not that it was done, but this little detail I was kind of looking for and I forgot about. This process of like once they commandeered the boat to get it back to land to then like fully take it, 43 hours. So they managed to then like not.
I feel like that's not that long, but
I just feel like it's a pretty long time considering it's a
to be down
Zeppelin.
Okay, I agree. That I agree with because that is very easy to shoot.
Yes.
Absolutely. All you have to do is like shoot a BB through it and you've lost a Zeppelin.
Exactly. It was eventually. That's how it eventually met its demise. But yeah,
a BB gun?
A BB gun. That's exactly it. Actually, it was shot down. But yeah, I thought I was like, that's insane.
That is,
man. Right?
That sounds like something that would happen in 2022.
But it's
like a Zeppelin took over a submarine.
Right. Even better.
Right.
Hello, we've decided to go ahead and come below the surface of the water. Hello.
Now we're talking.
Good morning. I'm kind of impressed that I was even able to do that.
That was pretty good. I could just see like a bunch of Germans just hopping off in their scuba gear, like, we're not here. That was terrible. That was a terrible German.
No, it wasn't that bad. Especially because in the First World War, they still had those like spikes on the top of their head too.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Be very careful around the Zeppelin with those things, boys. You're getting too close. You're going to pop it.
We don't give the Germans enough credit. Sometimes we give them too much credit, but we don't give them enough credit.
When it comes to the First and Second World War, I'm saying that as if there's already. But like when it comes to the First and the Second World War, a lot of the blame is kind of deserved. So, you know.
That's fair. Okay.
We're not forgiving the Germans.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how much my fiance absolutely loves Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hot take, never saw one of them.
Any of them?
None.
Oh, man.
No, I don't like Johnny
You should take
Depp.
that out, poster. You're going to have a problem. Wait, you don't like Johnny
Come
Depp?
see me. No, I don't like Johnny Depp at all.
Wow.
I don't.
Why?
It's trying too hard. I liked him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Secret Window.
Secret Window is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, but I don't like him. I think he needs a good shower. He just looks so dirty.
He is the epitome of Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. I'm not impressed by him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Christina would say otherwise.
Oh, okay.
To the point where she had a human-sized cardboard cutout of Captain Jack Sparrow. And apparently it was like a joke between her and her friends because I think her friends got it for her.
Oh, I
for,
thought
like,
that
Christmas
this
or
was
something.
I thought this was at a period where like you had known her at this point.
Oh,
You know,
no.
I was gonna say love is love can conquer all, but
She still loves the movies.
I was gonna say because if I ever walked in, what's that? Oh, it's my life-size cutout of
What do you
Captain
mean? What's that? That's
Jack
the answer you
Sparrow.
get.
I'd say, hello, Mom. Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta get going. I gotta take this right now. This isn't gonna work out.
She absolutely loves all the movies.
Okay.
Actually, she put, since you've never seen them, this means nothing to you. But I'm pretty sure she said in order of her likeness of them, because there's 5.
Too many. 5 too many, I think is the full sentence you were aiming for.
Well played.
Thank you.
2, 1, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
I think is her order of,
All right.
and I would be close to agree.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I have no
Yeah.
idea. To me, they're all the same.
That's fair. I did do a little reading. I almost did a bit on Captain Jack Sparrow. He was not a real pirate.
Oh, okay.
This actually, that character was created by Disney. Totally created.
Really?
And, yep. There's no
No inspiration.
there's no truth to it. Nope. It was just a totally fabricated character that Johnny Depp came in and played.
Well,
effortlessly.
Right, because if I'm not mistaken, there was the ride that had existed, I believe, before
So
the
that's what the
movies.
movie is based off of.
Right.
But Captain Jack was not based off of anyone.
Right, because they
specific, but
added him in
Yes.
as an animatronic, I believe.
in 2006 when the ride was
redone, right?
yeah.
Like
Yep.
revamped.
So yeah,
Okay.
so the movie is based off of the ride in Universal Studios, Pirates of the Caribbean, and
Disney.
what? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I forget where. It's been too long. I can't wait to go back. But I actually had a toy prop from that ride. I still have it. It's a pirate musket.
Oh.
It's like a flint,
Oh,
pull the
no
flint
way.
back pirate musket
Oh, that's awesome.
from, no joke, 1992.
Oh, wow.
The first time I ever went
Wow.
to Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
That long ago.
Still have the pirate musket.
Gotta love it.
But anyway, the article that I read about him is they didn't really want him to be a main character because he actually, and when I think about it, you don't know this, but when I think about it, he actually doesn't hold, they didn't say this, but this is what I inferred from it, a significant plot point because he's just kind of like madness and mayhem.
Oh.
So he affects all the characters.
Oh, he's like a foil.
And he's kind of, but he was also a virtuous pirate.
oh.
You know, he constantly runs from danger, typically coming back to outsmart or like outwit whoever was the problem.
Oh.
And through every movie, this happens.
Huh.
But then after he got such a good review from the first movie, even though they didn't want to give him a central part in the second one because they wanted to kind of write the script so it propelled the trilogy, in the third movie, they brought it back to him, and it's a sole Captain Jack Sparrow movie, like inner workings of his mind, revealing a lot about the character. So that I thought was kind of cool.
Huh.
But anyway, let's get into some pirate stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
You alluded to this before. You said it's in the writing when I
Right.
said this is what, what we think of pirates. So pirate accent and dress it's not canonically accurate.
Okay.
In fact, we can owe many of our stigmas regarding pirates to Disney.
Shocking.
Right. Not only do we recall the dress depicted in Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but let us first go look at the 1950 Disney film,
Peter Pan?
Treasure Island.
Oh, Treasure Island. Oh, I completely
Yes,
forgot
sir.
about that.
I've never actually seen this, but I did know that it was based on Long John Silver, another character in Black Sails.
Oh.
Although he's just, at first, the first 3 seasons known as John Silver.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't get the
He
long
doesn't get the
until
Jack.
the 4th season.
Oh, okay.
Long John Silver. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the accents and phrases used in this movie have shaped how we view pirates today, but they're not accurate. Disney kind of just threw like the R and ahoy matey, all this Long John Silver stuff that they threw into this movie is not even close to.
Well, because ahoy, I believe, is just a maritime
exactly.
term to use to begin with.
Exactly. And like even with the clothing that we're so used to seeing, like the pirate clothing, let's call it, it really wasn't pirate clothing at all. It was all maritime, like typical maritime sailor
Like
dress.
garb. Oh, okay.
Pretty much. And if you were like wealthier, then you would have wealthier, more
Yeah.
embellished robes or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
How about eye patches?
Yeah.
We've seen them on all sorts of pirates, right?
Yeah.
That's actually...
I was this close to getting us eye patches for this episode.
Man.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
You shouldn't even told me.
So sorry.
So that's actually a real thing. Pirates wearing eye patches. But it's not for the reason we think.
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
Is it so that they could see better looking out through telescopes?
No, but that's a really good guess.
Oh, okay,
because
then.
they do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Telescoping.
Telescoping.
Sure.
So
they were not used to shield a gruesome disfigurement from battle or whatever. They were actually used for a specific purpose. So pirates on the ship, anyone really on a ship, would have to go constantly above deck, below deck, above deck, below deck. Below deck, very dark, but most of the time above deck, on the deck, it is sunny outside. So they would wear this eye patch to constantly have one eye adjusted to the darkness. And it would actually help them when they change scenery to adjust their eyes more quickly.
That's brilliant.
Super smart.
Huh. Like the analog transition lens.
Pretty much.
Huh.
Old school. Yeah. Just a cloth patch. Yeah. And not only that, but peg legs and hooks for hands were a real thing too.
That I feel like I kind of knew.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is actually a cool story. This led to our earliest form of workers' compensation because after a pirate would be injured on duty or in battle, they would get like a stipend. They would be handsomely compensated for their sacrifice, whether it be their hand or their leg or whatever, and from the captain.
Oh.
So this was essentially workman's comp.
Huh.
Yeah, get injured on the job and get a bunch of money for you.
Interesting.
But they would give them money too.
Yeah.
Like pay them off because this happened.
Look at that.
Lastly, I just wanted to talk about very briefly pirate diets. What pirates might eat on the ship. They had really interesting diets actually, due to the fact that they had to be creative with their menu, because if they brought things on the ship that would spoil too quickly, it wouldn't last. So a lot of their diet, which signed me up, cured meats and fermented veggies.
Yeah, okay. That sounds great.
That sounds phenomenal. That's what I eat on a daily basis.
Yeah, if I could. All you're saying is just charcuterie.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine
exactly.
by me.
And that was most, because if you brought like pretty much anything they brought on the ship fresh, wasn't going to last.
Of course. Oh, that's smart.
So they had to get creative. They had to cure things. They had to ferment things. That's why they drank a lot of alcohol, because the alcohol helped with the water.
Right.
Like we talked about before. But yeah, it was a lot of like trying to preserve your life while you were out there.
Interesting. I like that.
Really cool.
Huh. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I had said, again, we told a quick little story about, the Zeppelin and that air piracy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, though, I had to go ahead and bring it to actually hijacking, what we now refer to as hijacking.
Modern piracy,
if you will. So what I kind of found, again, a rather interesting story, and I think it should at least be noted. And let me just go ahead and kind of get this note here real quick for you. So, hijackings are not something that we are necessarily, familiar with today, due to, a lot of for the most part. So, however, there was a period where there were a number of hijackings, particularly in the 60s and 70s in the U.S. Or I shouldn't even say in the U.S., but like internationally, there were a number of hijackings. In fact, and let me see if I could find this statistic, but I believe at one point in time it had broken down to, it became so kind of like prevalent that there were roughly, let me see if I can find this real quick. Essentially, what they had said wound up happening was that there was essentially a hijacking roughly every 5.5 days at one point.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So, for example, in a 5-year period, for example, this is what it is. So in a 5-year period, so between 1968 and 1972, the world experienced 326 hijack attempts, or one every 5.6 days.
Wow.
Now, we obviously are again, not very aware of this, but I'm sure even our parents could tell you that there was a period in time where, like, you could quite literally go to the airport, get on a plane, and, like, buy your ticket on the plane itself, very much in the same sort of way that you would be able to, like, get on the train now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So security was, like, at a minimum. So this is just a quick little look into a couple that are kind of interesting.
Yeah, I feel like interesting is not the right word.
No, this was just kind of a like I said, a bit of an odd one that I had managed to come across here. And let's see if all of my notes are still where I need them to be. Okay, huzzah!
Typically, none of the things I want are rare. I need them to be.
Listen, this is a rarity. So, January 28th, 1972, Flight 2. So this plane, this was hijacked by con man and robber named Garrett Trapnell while flying over Chicago, during which he had demanded roughly $310,000. He demanded the release of an imprisoned Marxist, communist, political activist named Angela Davis. Another, unnamed friend. He had another friend that was in jail for one reason or another. They never specified who it was. And he had demanded clemency from President Nixon from this as well. So what would happen a lot of times is that, these hijackings went on for such, a long period of time where a lot of times, the plane would, land, refuel, sometimes, change crew, and then, take off once again. So this particular flight was retaken by FBI officials during a crew switch at JFK. And this was the one that prompted the Nixon administration to implement new security regulations at airports with, metal detectors and things along those lines. Those rules that were put in place wound up staying in place until 9/11 then,
right,
when everything kind of got overhauled. So that was the one in January of 1972.
Okay.
June of 1972, June 23rd, a man by the name of Martin J. McNally. He had hijacked a Boeing 727. It was an American Airlines flight, and he had demanded $502,000. Again, these are strange numbers. That first one for 310 was actually an exact amount of money that Garrett was trying to recoup from court fees from other crimes that he had committed.
Oh my God.
So this one with McNally, $502,000. While the money was being raised, because they used to pay them. A lot of these guys got paid. The plane actively just flew back and forth between Tulsa and St. Louis until the sum could be reached. The news was actively covering this as it was happening. And at one point in time, a 30-year-old businessman by the name of David J. Hanley crashed his 1972 Cadillac through 2 fences at the airport into the plane itself while it was grounded for refueling, and crashed his car going 80 miles per hour. Now, if anybody's ever seen a 1972 Cadillac,
that's a boat
and a half going 80 miles per hour, and crashed it in between the fuselage and the left wing. This man, mind you, wound up being charged with destruction or damage incurred to a commercial aviation, vehicle, whatever the hell. As a result of the crash, though, McNally changed planes. This next plane took off, and he jumped out then of the plane with the money somewhere over Indiana. Okay? He wound up being captured, though, due to fingerprints. Fingerprints, wound up going ahead and getting caught. Okay? So he's now in jail as well. He's sentenced.
He jumped out of the plane over Indiana?
A lot of these guys did this. A lot of these guys would get the money.
And he survived?
Yes. A lot of them did. It's actually kind of crazy how many of these guys actually got away with it. May 24th, 1978. It's about 6 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Ann Oswald hijacked a helicopter, and she had ordered it to fly to Marion Federal Prison. She was attempting to break out her boyfriend and another guy out of prison. Who do you think she was trying to get out of prison?
What year was this? 78?
Correct.
Oh, God. I have no idea. Nikki Sixx.
She was trying to break out her boyfriend, a guy by the name of Garrett Trapnell, who was in jail.
Oh, my God, no.
And his friend, Martin J. McNally.
This is amazing.
So she hijacked a helicopter to go and break out her boyfriend and his friend who were in jail for hijacking commercial airliners.
How'd that go?
Not well. The attempt didn't work because of the fact is that the captain of the helicopter wound up actually being able to get the gun that she had on her, got it away from her, and he shot and had killed her in this process.
Wow.
December 21st, 1978. Robin, a young girl, 17-year-old girl, had hijacked a TWA flight 541 from that was flying between Louisville and Kansas City. She had claimed that she had 3 sticks of dynamite on her. The plane had landed, and she was hoping to seek the release of Garrett Trapnell. Why? Well, this girl, her name was Robin Oswald, whose mother had just been killed for trying to break out Garrett Trapnell and Martin J. McNally. While that airplane was grounded, per her demands, that's when she wound up surrendering. And eventually being taken by custody, and it turned out that the dynamite was revealed to only be flares.
This poor 17-year-old girl.
But, dude, I was just going through this, and I was
what an idiot.
I just kept thinking, I would go, okay, so some guy hijacked a plane in January, and then another one did in June, and they were both in jail. And then the one who hijacked in January had his girlfriend try and break the both of them out, but she was killed. So then her daughter hijacked a plane.
That tracks.
Dude.
No, it doesn't.
Insanity.
That is ridiculous.
Insanity. But also I think just highlights how stupid easy it was evidently to hijack a plane.
Man. What's up with that?
Yeah. And like I said, the number of hijackings for financial reasons, for political reasons, happened non-stop for years. Years. Yeah, so those are but a smattering of hijackings, and again, the numbers just greatly diminished. Diminished.
That blows my mind, and I know that obviously everything's more beefed up now, security wise, but how is that not of utmost importance at the time? We're sending people up in a steel trap, 40,000 feet up in the air. We should make sure that good people get on this plane.
Oh yeah,
or at least that we check everyone.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of crazy, at times.
You'd think you wouldn't want somebody with a weapon 40,000 feet in the air.
Well, again, and it's one of those things where even now, let's say, now it's one of those things where, you'd probably be surprised at times. I mean, there's still some of those stories, even contemporarily, of folks getting certain things on plane. And not to scare anybody by any means, because, I fly, you fly. Like I don't have a problem with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it also does kind of have to do a little bit with like, hate to say it, but like profiling. Like,
Yeah.
I've always found it fascinating that I have never, I'm a smoker. I carry matches and lighters with me on a plane all the time. No big deal.
Are you not supposed to have a lighter?
No, you're not supposed to have
Probably
anything
not.
like
That
that.
makes sense.
No. Yeah. Especially considering the fact is that you're in like an enclosed area that is pressurized as well.
Very much so.
But yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
We hope you guys learned a bunch about pirates today.
I hope you did.
I know we did.
I definitely. And we didn't even touch half of the things we probably could have.
Oh, man. Should have, I would say. Should have.
You'll just have to come back around for more.
Yeah, but it won't be pirates.
It won't be pirates. What will it be? There will be blood. I have no idea. That's just the name of a movie. I don't know. I don't know what it'll be.
You're starting to take on some of this Rambo characterization from the last episode. Listen, everyone. Be good.
Bad.
Don't be a pirate.
Don't be a pirate.
Don't be a pirate.
Don't be a pirate.
Unless you're going to be Robin Hood.
Or be a good pirate.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Robin Hood.
Sure.
Technically not a seafarer.
No, he's one of those land pirates.
He rode a horse.
He did. He also wore a lot of, tight pants.
Yeah, and green, but I feel like it wasn't green.
Probably not. Maybe we'll do a little something on Robin Hood.
Maybe we'll do a little something on Robin Hood.
But also maybe not. You'll just have to subscribe and like and all that kind of good stuff and tune in for the next one.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
See ya.
Goodbye.